Welcome to Geek Vs. Geek, where two nerds fight to the death over all things technological. Okay, maybe not exactly to the death, but the way these guys fight, there may actually be bloodshed at some point. So let's meet our geek gladiators who'll be duking it out today. Dave Johnson is Editorial Director of eHow's Tech Channel. He's written about 36 books on technology. Broida writes for business and consumer technology for CNET, PC World, and Wired. His CNET blog, The Cheapskate, attracts nearly 1 million readers every month. Together, these guys write eHow Tech's Geek Vs. Geek, and today we're going to do that face-to-face and in person. So let's get started. Our first segment before we get to the main event is our segment Worth It, where we check in with a gadget that's been getting a lot of buzz, but not sure, is it worth it? Today we'll be talking about the Pebble smartwatch. And Dave, I think you're wearing one.
Why, yes I am, Helen. So the smartwatch, if you're not familiar, there's a whole bunch of watches out there. The Pebble is probably the most popular example of which right now. It is a watch, it tells you the time, but it also,
hope so.
Yes, is something very important for watches to do, but it communicates wirelessly with your phone. Emails, notifications, text messages, and other apps can send information to your watch, so you never have to take the phone out of your pocket, and you can stay in the loop on all that. So you can get one of these for about $150. Totally worth it.
Totally worth it someday. I would have to say that the Pebble itself it's kind of cool, but it's just big and clunky. I mean, I'm ready for smartwatches. I totally want a smartwatch that is actually smart, that is actually sexy. This to me just looks kind of like a Palm Pilot strapped to your wrist. You know, it's clunky, it's big, look at it.
It's no bigger than a normal watch. Look at that.
It's got buttons. Where's the touchscreen interface? We live in a touchscreen powered world. My iPhone is touchscreen, my Windows laptop is touch. It's all touchscreen, no touchscreen.
It's impractical to make this a touchscreen because you wouldn't be able to actually interact with it.
Sure you could. I mean, you get a text message, you boop, reply, boop, I'm busy.
Yeah,
you know?
that would be pretty handy.
And I want it to sound just like that.
And how different is that to just press the button?
I kind of agree. Like, if you had to learn which buttons do what,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that to navigate the interface, you have to scroll and do all the sort of stuff that I want to flick, I want to tap. Come on.
It has 3 buttons. It takes 30 seconds to learn how to use it.
And which one does what? It's not labeled. There's no way to know what's what here. I mean, come on. It's confusing.
Well, we've got one yes and one no on the Pebble smartwatch. What do you guys think? Let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or email. Moving on to the main event, the epic battle of wit between the wonks. It's a battleground of ideas here, kind of like if the combatants of the Thunderdome actually knew how to read. There's only one rule. Rick and Dave get to fight like school children until I tell them to stop. Today we are talking about Windows 8.1. Is it Microsoft's magic bullet? Rick, do you want to start?
Absolutely. I'd say that Windows 8.1 is too little too late. It's Microsoft's attempt to patch an operating system that was a misfire from the get-go, and although it does restore a couple of the most important missing elements from Windows, ultimately it's not going to do enough to get any fan base built up because Windows 8 is just... it's a disaster.
You know, at its core, Windows 8 is designed to be used on a touch device, so a tablet or something like that, but it also still works just fine with a mouse and keyboard. And really, Windows 8.1, what it brings to the table is it solves the problem that so many users didn't like the fact that Microsoft took the start button away and don't let you boot directly to the desktop. You have to go to the start screen.
Yes.
So Windows 8 gives us both of those things.
But my problem always was that when you were forced to boot to the Metro interface with all the live tiles and so forth, and didn't have the option of going to the familiar desktop, I didn't like having that shoved down my throat. So I buy a new computer, I am stuck with Windows 8, I'm stuck with this interface that I don't like, and so every time I boot the computer, I have to manually go into desktop mode where there's no start button and no familiarity with what I'm used to.
Amen.
Okay, Windows 8.1 comes along, and Microsoft has heard the users, and it's going to remedy those two issues. Well then, why now is the Metro interface exist at all?
But keep in mind, this is one operating system that's going to work on all your devices. So let's say you have a desktop computer and you have a tablet and maybe even a laptop with a touchscreen. What the Metro or modern interface does is it gives you apps that will work seamlessly across all of those.
I mean, there's absolutely no benefit. And this is where I think that Windows 8 fails completely, is that there's no benefit.
There's another aspect to this too that I think is important to keep in mind, is the fact that we have all these modern apps in Windows 8. It's not just the consistency across devices, but it gives us a store, a single place place to go to download, try, buy new apps, which will help inspire developers to create more cooler, more interesting apps, and a single place to go to try and get new stuff.
All right, good argument, but I totally disagree with you. Hence, I'm going to call Rick the winner of this round.
You're just making him the winner because you liked his argument more.
I have it and
That's
I
not
hate
fair.
it. I have it and I hate it. I'm totally going with you on this. So, Rick, you win by default because I'm angry with you, Microsoft.
Thank you.
So, Rick
Me
is
too.
the winner of this round. What do you guys think at home? Do you agree? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm being overly aggressive? Do you think Dave has good points? Let us know. Reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email. Now it's time for Desert Island Tech, where Dave and Rick share their one essential piece of gear that they cannot live without this week. Dave, you want to start?
Sure, so I have something really cliched this week. It's just my iPhone.
Da-da-da-da.
I know, I feel kind of bad bringing my phone to Desert Island Tech, but think about it. It really is the Swiss Army knife of electronics. I can make phone calls on it with the cellular network
Towers
that's on the
that are on the
island.
island.
I have photos and I can take pictures because it's a camera. This thing does everything. It even has an app that'll let me see when the rescue plane is coming. I mean, is there anything that this phone cannot do? And the answer is no.
I totally would agree. I mean, if I was going to pick the one thing, it would be that. Rick, what's yours?
Well, I can't complain with that choice too much because mine is pretty much identical, only larger. I would bring along with me this week the Kindle Fire HD. I agree, it'd be nice to have apps and Netflix, of course, for the Wi-Fi towers that are there, and books and music and all that sort of good stuff. And I like the 7-inch form factor of the Kindle Fire. And, you know, hey, if we got Wi-Fi, then this is what I'm bringing.
I still feel like you could use that even if it dies eventually. Trade it with the natives.
Well, it's
for,
a
like,
it's
fish
a
or
little
something.
place to chop.
No, it's a deserted island. There are no natives.
This is where you do your chopping, right here. It's
Yeah. This would make a really nice like platter for sushi, because I'm assuming that's the only way you're going to be eating fish.
That's right.
Because it's going to be hard to start a fire. So, sushi. Well, that about does it for us here at Geek Vs. Geek. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think of the show? Let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or email, and we'll see you next time on Geek Vs. Geek.